The Roman legions always could, with well-thought-out strategies, discipline and perfect preparation, be successful in a campaign. Like every military in our present day, the Roman legions weren't so effective if they didn't have scouts and spies. Why the Romans systematically trained spies in their military? In the composition of the individual military branches, a Roman legion had different people, with different knowledge and skills recorded. The spies, in particular, had to have abilities that a normal legionnaire does not own. These skills were not just stealing information, but also contract killings, and inciting local riots. In this video, I tell you the story about the spies and scouts of the Roman legions. Let's go. The Roman Empire began right after the Punic Wars, systematically build up the military spies. This action of the Romans was influenced by the fact that Hannibal, who was previously a talented field army general of Carthage, defeated in the Punic War, had a sophisticated spy network in his military. He had his ears and eyes in practically every Roman military camp at the time of the Punic Wars. This gave him a great tactical advantage over his enemy Rome. Little by little, the Romans realized they couldn't look any further. They had to act and build their own espionage network. Until the time when the Roman senator Publius Cornelius Scipio had not decided to build up, the Roman legions had hardly any spies or scouts in your ranks. The first practical implementation of this idea was Roman legionaries disguised as slaves to send to the enemy, with the intention of conduct ceasefire negotiations. During the trial, one of the disguised slaves took the fortification of the enemy military camp, or the city exactly studied. There were weak points in the walls, which, for example, only sparsely built up in one place, number of guards at the gate, strength of troops, and the individual dates of the changes of the guard, from the Roman spies embossed with precision. In the event that something went wrong in the trial, the disguised legionaries, their weapons were hidden under their clothes. These alleged negotiations were carried out by the Romans several times. Thus, the Romans were able to obtain a detailed picture of their enemy. With the expansion of the Roman Empire, in the course of the following centuries, and the development of internal political links, the Roman government saw it as urgently needed spies and scouts, also in domestic policy. The Romans have realized that it was not only necessary its enemies, in foreign policy, but also its allies and states dependent on Rome. Specially trained political messengers were entrusted with these tasks. These messengers not only possessed a central power in the Roman legions, but also in some key positions in the Roman government. This department doesn't work alone on its missions. They had servants and slaves under their command, which before into the cities and camps of the enemy. These servants not only regularly have valuable information to the Roman messengers, but could with ease to poison any politician in the enemy's camp. These messengers of the Roman Empire were simultaneously by other peoples as spies. These detachments were often sent into enemy or allied territory, not to negotiate peace or ceasefire, but just to find out how the relationship and the opinion of the opposite to the Roman Empire is. For example, the Syrian king Antiochus IV, who the strategy of the Romans already knew. To this end, the political messengers of Rome always stats very hospitable reception, and they were flooded with great compliments. But in truth he had not a single reason to like the Romans. In his youth, the Syrian king Antiochus IV, captured by the Romans, after the military of his father, due to lack of finance, had disintegrated. In the course of the next few decades, the Romans did not bring good to the Syrian kingdom. Decades later, other countries have also realized that Rome does not seem to them like it at first glance, only send negotiators or messengers. For this reason, these states have tried every Roman which was on a political mission in their country, openly or secretly, to eliminate. Not only diplomats and messengers have fallen under suspicion of espionage, but also merchants. From the beginning, the Roman Senate had not foreseen that their political enlightenment messengers would become an official part of the Roman government. Before this scenario, every member of the Roman Senate had fear. The reason was that, with the help of this organization, the supervision of the Senate's own nobles in the capital Rome could be carried out on its own. On the other hand, an official espionage organization of the state at the time of the Senate did not change much. Every member of the Senate had their own spies. The Roman army and politician Julius Caesar was the perfect example for the application of a private espionage organization. All the letters delivered by his messengers was coded. In this sense, was also invented the Caesar deciphering or deciphering the shift. Basically a simple code, but at the time, an effective code to encrypt letters. A letter has been substituted by the next or the previous letter of the alphabet. Julius Caesar personally uses decryption 3. That means A has been replaced by D. B became E and C became F. Over the millennia, this code has been used by the Italian mafia until the 20th century. The organization of the messengers under the first Roman Emperor Augustus saw it before delivery to the recipient to check the contents of the letter. The Roman nobles also continued to have their private messengers sent. At the time of the reign of Emperor Domitian, the Secret Service organization of Fromentarier was founded. The initial task was to monitor the wheat stores of the local population in the occupied territories of Rome. Fromentarier have not aroused any negative suspicion in the population. They knew as localities every road and the statesman by heart. The service with the Fromentariers could come from a common citizen, make a powerful politician with an influential office. For example, Mark Octavian Adwain, as a simple soldier, in the legions of Rome, then passed into the department of the Fromenadier, and a few years later the statesman of Britain. He also had good chances for the emperor throne. In the period of the Middle and Late Imperial period, the Fromenadier were also used to eliminate used by Roman emperors. The Emperor Septimus Severus, in the battle for the emperor throne, Claudius Albinus removed from the way. Interestingly, the further development of spies, and the enlighteners himself survived the Roman Empire. In the Byzantine Empire these departments were further improved. I hope you liked the video. If so, please leave a subscription and a thumb up there. See you soon, your channel History Best.